All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live reaction to Spring Break presented by Hempville CBD. What a day it was. First and foremost, want to take a second to thank everybody who's in the live chat today. It was a ton of fun. And then also a big shout out to our friends at Hempville CBD in South Haven, Mississippi. It's in DeSoto County. It's local to Memphis, but then also you can check them out on the internet and order from anywhere in the world at hempvillecbd.com. Big shout out to Ben out at Hempville CBD. Thank you for sponsoring. And then some of you even got the collector's lanyards that are double-sided with Hempville CBD. So big shout out there. Also, Hammerstone. Big thank you to Hammerstone for coming out to Memphis Wrestling. Man, this guy's bigger in person than he looks on television, and he looks huge on television. But what a day we had. And then also coming up, we've got a big week. I don't know about you guys, but Memphis Grizzlies basketball is coming to an end on Sunday, which is tomorrow. That's the final game of the season. And then baseball will be really ramping up. Memphis Redbirds, of course, I host those games. And then tonight I'll be out at the Renaissance Convention Center hosting the One Gala for Regional One Health. Big shout out to them. Flo Rida is going to be performing live, and I'll be introducing him on stage. So very, very, very busy. Also next Sunday, Saturday and Sunday, we have back-to-back. We're going to be in Little Rock, Arkansas with the Arkansas Travelers. That's a minor league baseball team out in Little Rock. It's going to be a ton of fun. 4:05 first pitch. There will be post-game matches featuring the stars of Memphis Wrestling. Get those tickets at memphiswrestling.tv. And then next Sunday, Buff Daddy. That's right. Buff Bagwell returns to Memphis Wrestling. Those tickets are almost gone. So if you've been holding out, thinking about getting tickets or waiting for the right moment, you need to do it now. And also, if you use the code word BUFF at checkout, BUFF, you will save $5 per ticket. Get them before they're gone, because if you go look at the seating chart, there's not a lot left. Anyways, let's talk about episode 164. It was Spring Break presented by Hempville CBD. We had a Spring Break scramble. We had Hammerstone. We had Jimmy Blaylock face-to-face with King Cobra. And then also you had me decked out in my Hawaiian shirt with my shades. And then my broadcast tag team partner, Terrence Ward, not so much, but that's cool. He doesn't like to have fun, and I do. Let me get to the comments here. Brian is here. William is here. He says, another banger of a show. Thank you so much. Glenn says, hello all. Ben Vandenberg is here. What's up, Ben? I love that championship badge. You too, William. He says, what's up, Dustin? As always, bringing another great episode. I thought so too. I think they're just organically flowing together, and sometimes that's very hard to do when you have episodes every single week. So, man, big shout out to all the talent. Shout out to Terrence Ward, everybody that helps make this possible. I think it's definitely flowing very well. Old School Dave says, hello, my wonderful YouTube friends. What's going on, everybody? Quick reminder that you can join the members only for only $3.99 a month. You'll get all sorts of never before seen footage and photos, and then also all the cool custom emojicons that we use during the live chat. So go ahead and give it a shot. Also, I mentioned today, or it was actually aired today, that there is a YouTube or an eBay store. Excuse me, I can't talk today. An eBay store. So go to memphiswrestling.tv, click that, and you'll see autographed pictures, posters, championship belts, action figures, and so much more. Oh my gosh, we've got such a good stock of inventory on memorabilia. So go check that out. We'll ship from anywhere in the world. Cosmic Joe says, hey, Dustin, what's going on, brother? Let's see. Lurvy says, hello, Dustin. Hammer seems to be a proud name for many things besides proud wrestler, for board games, British horror movies, etc. Well, Hammerstone definitely showed up in Memphis ready, and he competed. And oh my gosh, poor Big Nasty Phil. But also, man, the fans were totally behind Big Nasty Phil and Main Event Bradley. I think Buddy was in here just a minute ago talking about that they always pull for the local talent. I thought there was no way possible that the fans would be cheering for Main Event Bradley and Big Nasty Phil, but they kind of did. Brian says, great episode this week. He loves Memphis Wrestling. Thank you, brother. Ben says, what do you think about Tama Tonga debuting last night, taking out Jimmy Uso? I thought it was very cool. I think I worked with Tama Tonga. If that's Haku's son, I believe I worked with him very, very early on in FCW at the WWE Developmental. But I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of story they'll be able to tell with the Bloodline without The Rock and without Roman Reigns. So I'm looking forward to it. Exciting stuff, Ben. especially when new talent gets an opportunity at the top of the card. William says, anyone see the shakeup in the bloodline last night on SmackDown? Well, there we go. We were just talking about it. Rob says another great card. Every week is the best one. Man, I've got a couple of faves, and they all took place here recently. So I'm liking it too, Rob. Thank you. Willie says, hammer time. That's exactly right. Old School Dave says, looking sharp, Dustin. Hair down and on point. Okay, well, I really appreciate it. Just wait till you see my suit later. I've got a green suit with black lapels. I am going to be decked out as I am hosting the biggest party in town tonight at the Renaissance Convention Center. I'm not even kidding. There's going to be thousands of people there, and Flo Rida will be performing live. I get to introduce him on stage. Can't wait. Ben said, what will we see? Ben says, how about Jon Moxley winning the IWGP World Heavyweight title? Very, very cool stuff, especially for Tony Khan, because he's such a big mark for anything that New Japan does. And that's not a shot. It's literally what it is. So I saw that Tony was there watching. Congrats to Moxley. William says, Ben, I was as shocked as Paul Heyman. Larry says, who else is coming to Memphis Wrestling now that Reality Wrestling, United Wrestling Network, and TCW is intact? Well, I will say that we will have Zilla Fatu very, very soon. And I was this close to getting Jacob Fatu, but it looks like he's signed with WWE. Of course, I'm looking out for Maven. I would like to have Santino here. And then also we have, if you are a members only, then you already know who is on the way to Memphis. And check this out, Eddie Kane, my dude right here with a $5 donation. Let me hit a little heart on that. Thank you so much, man. We're going to use that to give a kid some tickets. Hi, Dustin. Since you have Brooklyn Brawler coming to Memphis Wrestling, what about Downtown Bruno? Well, let me give you guys a scoop on Downtown Bruno. Downtown Bruno is a good, close personal friend of mine for many, many years. My son grew up knowing Downtown Bruno and hanging out with him. Downtown Bruno actually helped me get my foot, literally my toe only, in the door at WWE. And that's one of the reasons that I eventually got signed. But now there seems to be some politics that are playing that Downtown Bruno thinks that Jerry Lawler and I have some heat. And since he's a Jerry Lawler guy, he will not come work for me. So wrap your head around that, even though we're basically the only show in town with television and millions of views and such. So there's your Downtown Bruno story. I'll give it to you because you donated that $5. Eddie Kane, man, I really appreciate it. And also we need to talk about one of those replica championships. Old School Dave says, I want one of those discontinued Dustin shirts. Will they be on the eBay store? Are you talking about the Memphis Vince shirts, Old School Dave? Lurby says, any number one contender tag teams to challenge for the belts, Matt, the Rat, and Prince Uncharming are holding. Stay tuned, Lurby. The tag team division is absolutely loaded. Jeffrey says he is the son of Haku. I'm pretty sure I worked with him in developmental. And let me tell you, Haku is one bad dude. Willie says that was an intense meeting between Cassandra Golden and Mackenzie Morgan. I totally agree. I cannot wait to see these two back in the ring again. But who do you got? Can Mackenzie Morgan? It's hard to beat somebody, especially a former Memphis Wrestling Women's Champion, but it's harder to beat them twice in a row. So who do you guys got? This match is obviously going to happen, Cassandra and Mackenzie. But who you got? Rob says MKZ needs to wear snake boots when Cassandra's around. Rob says, Dustin, did you see Lance Archer on Hey EW? I saw some of the clips. I love the thing about the tramp stamp that he called a champ stamp. Big fan of, oh gosh, tell me the guy that's Hey EW. I talked to him at AEW at FedEx Forum. Super duper nice guy. I was not expecting him to be as cool as what he was, but he totally was. And now his name escapes me, so I look like a jerk. William says Eddie Kane, man, seeing Bruno being Bruno would be cool. I totally agree. I love Downtown Bruno. Ben says Tama and Tanga, his brother, used to team in Japan. Okay, so he's got two. So one of them I worked with. Rob says, love Spring Break Scramble, though the Beale Street Pimps won. I guess you could call them the Beale Street Pimps. The Superstars of Seduction. Okay. Cosmic Joe says, which side should Jacob Fatu join, Tamatanga and Solo or the Usos? So, I mean, are they just going to put the Usos back together? I think there's a little more story that needs to be told there. And then I do totally see where we'd have the Usos with Roman Reigns versus the three others, but they're not nearly the superstar quality that Roman Reigns and the Usos are at this point. So there needs to be some work done along the way here. Rob Matlock says Boss seems to be back and better than ever. Yes, the return of Tim Bosby, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Stay tuned. Lurvy says, how about Jim Cornette making a surprise appearance on Memphis Wrestling? Maybe join the commentating team for one episode. I don't know that Jim Cornette really travels that much. We are friends, and also he is such a just, you either love him or you hate him. So while he might bring some viewers around, he might also scare some viewers away. Ben says, who in the next level will Hollywood Jimmy gripe to? What is the next level on Memphis Wrestling? We've heard a lot of talk about the championship committee. So how is Jimmy Blaylock going to go over the head of King Cobra? And whether you cheer for the good guys or cheer for the bad guys, you should know that King Cobra and Michael have done a fantastic job at booking matches, or at least I feel like that. Brian says, is the Boz 100%? Looked like he was favoring the ribs, but the injury report says that he does have a clean bill of health. So take it for what it's worth. The value of those Memphis Vince shirts must have gone drastically way up, like worth quadruple digits. Oh my God, get out of here. Immediately when the Vince news hit, it was like, gosh, man, now we got to take them down. So it took them off the website. You can get shirts delivered anywhere in the world, prowrestlingtees.com/Memphis Wrestling. Go check those out. There's some brand new ones as well. Keith says WrestleMania was absolutely amazing last week. Can't believe Seth is no longer champion. Man, it was absolutely the greatest WrestleMania of all time. It broke all the social numbers, analytics, money, you name it. It's the biggest WrestleMania in history. If you don't believe me, just go watch WWE. They'll tell you 100 times. Rob says, did Hammerstone need to use skunk oil to get that landfill smell off of him? Did you hear me say that it was smelled loud in there? Hey, Andrea, how are you? She says, hey, Dustin, love you. You're awesome. Thank you. Love you. You're awesome. Lurvy says, why do all the good Samoan wrestlers have to go to WWE? I'd like to see a Samoan or two wrestle in Memphis. Well, stay tuned because I'm working on Zilla Fatu right now. Dustin, what's your opinion on the CM Punk Jack Perry video? I think it was so stupid. Why would they ever post that? So, first of all, okay, here's the thing. That is something that you put on the internet. You do not put it on television. And I think there's a misunderstanding and a misconception here. While the internet audience is very important, I think about 2% of the population is on Twitter X. That means there's about 98% that have no idea what's going on Twitter and on the internet. So what WWE does so well is they play to that huge, large, extremely large worldwide television audience. And then they post some bonus stuff to their social media audience. And I feel like AEW has it a little bit backwards. They post to the internet like it is the gospel, and then they post internet stuff on their television program, which I think is crazy. But why would you ever air footage of your wrestler getting beat up, and you can say beat up, whatever, but beat up by a WWE wrestler, and you put it on your show? Now all the fans are chanting CM Punk. Why would you ever come out and cut a promo on Triple H on AEW programming? It just makes no sense. And there I see RJ City. Thank you, Patrick Moore. I love RJ City. Very good stuff with Archer, too. Nice guy. But I'm just saying, I feel like it was the dumbest thing ever. It did zero for AEW. Now, Jack Perry, it looks like from the recent reports that I've seen of him in Chicago, kind of worked for him, I guess. But I just think it's bad business right there. So that's my opinion. Rob says if Spray Tan Van had talent, maybe he could win. That's true. Andrew says, hi, Dustin. I hope MKZ Mackenzie Morgan gets her hands on that jealous backstabber Cassandra Golden soon. How about you? That match will happen. So stay tuned. And I can't wait. And I said it before. I'll say it again. It is very hard to beat somebody 2 times in a row. Lurvy says, what if some ring veterans who made history in UWN rings made comebacks to be a part of the company now? Like who, Lurvy? Who? What's up, that Delta movie dude? Thanks for joining us. Put your questions here. Patrick says Haku has 3 sons, Tamatanga, Tangaloa, and Hikaleo. I butcher names all the time for a living, so maybe I did it there too. Rob says King Cobra versus Jimmy in a diabetes match. They throw Twinkies at each other. Well, King Cobra is much more healthy than Jimmy Blaylock. I don't think he has diabetes. Cosmic Joe says, when will Kate Toomer get revenge on Maurice the Strong? Did you see the footage from the media scrum? These guys literally took over the whole Wrestle Center after they took down Kate Toomer. And I promise you, Kate Toomer is not going to stand for that. Sure enough. Patrick says, Dustin, do you like the Pure Division? I don't know what the Pure Division is, Patrick. Andrew says, hi, Dustin. WrestleMania 40 was awesome. I'm so happy that Damian Priest is the new world heavyweight champion and Cody Rhodes finished his story. How about you? I thought it was cool. I think the way that they did it with Damian Priest was really, really good. And also, it looks like Damian Priest is dating CJ Perry. Whoa, who would have thought? Anyways, Bo says, your thoughts on Just In Case revealing in the chat that he's a former Mr. USA. Yeah, I believe that. Speaking of diabetes, I'm just kidding. I love Just In Case, even though he's a jerk, not a Mr. Tennessee. Brian says it's because AEW is losing viewers and they're grasping at straws. Yeah, but that is terrible. You cannot air that footage on your television program. Maybe on your social media channels, or if you were going to do it, you should have done it last year when it happened, but don't do it now, especially when CM Punk is hot as hell on WWE right now. Now you have your whole fan base chanting for guys who aren't even on your show. Haku was a monster back in the day. Islanders and Heenan family, I definitely remember. Oh, me too, man. Haku's a bad dude. Rob says, did Drew McIntyre have the shortest championship reign or what? Yeah, I think it was like 5 minutes. I can't believe it was that long. Larry says, just in case, if he was ever part of Team USA, he probably never won gold, the silver, or the bronze medal in the Olympics. Not in the Olympics, maybe like in the hot dog eating contest. William says, Dustin, you just echoed what Corny said on his podcast. It's true. I haven't even listened to Corny's podcast, but I don't know why you would. Do you think, honestly, on our level, okay, so this is, we're not getting – come on, man. There's a big difference between WWE, AEW, and Memphis Wrestling, okay? We would never, ever air footage from another company like that. Ever. Ever. Never, ever would we do that. And I can't believe they did. Toomer needs to get some back up against the circus. He might need it. William says, Lurvy, just in case, could have won a medal if buffet eating was an event. Robert says, Dustin, does K Toomer have friends? He's outnumbered by the circus. When you're the champ, man, you don't have a whole lot of friends. Robert says, Dustin, does K Toomer? Okay, I already did that. Rob says, every time I see the Twins of Salem, I think of the time that I got into the mushrooms. I've never had mushrooms, brother. You're on your own with that one. Keith says, I detected Jericho and Hook having problems on Dynamite. I don't want to get all mixed up with Dynamite and talking about that because I want to talk about Memphis Wrestling Spring Break presented by Hempville CBD. But terrible storytelling from AEW. I mean, you just introduced Jericho and Hook, and now they already have problems. I just think there's a big lack of storytelling. They do stuff in one episode that could be spread out across 3 or 4 different weeks of programming. These 20-minute matches as well, like very long matches on their television broadcast, takes away television time from some of the other some of the other fan favorites. So anyway, Lurvy says UWN, the Rockness Monsters, the Warriors. I don't know the Warriors. Willie Mack. I've tried talking to Willie Mack. Colt Cabana. Reno Scum. I think Reno Scum is retired. Midnight Heat. I know Adam Pierce won't be back, but the lesser knowns could. That's true, but you're talking about some of these guys. They're from LA. Some of them, there's 2 of them. Rockness Monsters are no longer together. Willie Mack, Colt Cabana, possibility. Reno Scum, probably not. Midnight Heat, I think they are in Oregon. So, I mean, those could happen. Do they sell tickets, Lurvy? Do they sell tickets? Or do people rush to their YouTube page to watch? Answer that question. Robert says, Matlock Moxley beat Rollins in seconds after Rollins won the title. Oh, yeah, Rollins. Well, I don't know if that counts. I think K Toomer should make friends with Jay Webb and get access to Webb's network of friends to help out against the circus. There you go. What is going on with Jay Webb? Posing this week with Hammerstone, tag teaming with Archer a couple of weeks ago. It's actually gotten crazy. Justin is Team USA for buffet busting. Patrick, it's on ROH. I don't necessarily watch ROH, unfortunately. Lurvy says, don't the Twins look like werewolves of the old Dark Shadows soap opera with the 1960s? I do like their all black look. Oh, you're talking about Twins of Salem. The O'Neill brothers look much better in all black. Patrick, send me some matches, man. Andrew says, hi, Dustin. I hate the Hollywood clique. Jimmy Blaylock is always blaming somebody else for his problems. Hope King Cobra puts him in his place soon. How about you? I think this story is just starting. Hollywood Jimmy Blaylock complaining about the matchmaking and says he's going to go over King Cobra's head. What does that mean? Stay tuned. Rob says, I like how the scramble had so much going on. I'll have to watch it again to see all the action. I agree. It was very hard to call because we're looking at our small monitor at the desk. Although we can look up and see everything going on, you got to call what's on the screen. And man, it was total chaos. So really good stuff. And I feel like that you guys like multi-person matches and battle royals and anything goes and all that kind of stuff. And the reason I feel like that is because it gets more views. So we'll keep them coming. Cosmic Joe says Tony Khan could learn a lot from Memphis wrestling storylines. I agree. Please, that would be so awesome. I mean, I am seeing some of these stories that could last 6 months that they're only doing a couple of weeks. Are you going to do a pay-per-view someday? I'm sure, Eric, that we will at some point. We have to be 100% prepared for that. That Delta movie dude says, I like the posing bro moment the two had on the episode today. I do too. I thought that was cool. Cody says, finally, some big game. Cody is the WWE Undisputed Champion last Monday and last Friday. Kay Toomer and the Gun Show should team up. I'd rather see them fight. What is the grudge between Bradley and Jay Webb? I have no idea. But ever since Jay Webb stepped foot on Memphis Wrestling Television, Main Event Bradley and Big Nasty Phil apparently have been taking advantage of him, it seems like. And now, shoes on the other foot. Jay Webb, the man, the myth, the legend. Mark says, have you ever thought about getting back into the ring? Yes, I thought about it for about 2 seconds and decided, hell no. Don't need to get back in the ring. Brian says Kay Toomer needs to get his belt back from the Freaks. He did. So the championship was returned back to Kay Toomer. Thank goodness. We don't need another situation where the championship isn't on the champion. Olsen twins are shampoo models on the side. Kid Terminated's in the house. What's going on, brother? Lurvy says the feud between Derek King, Ray Sanders, and LA Hustlers is heating up. Yes, attacking in the parking lot. Absolutely destroyed all the food, the tent. If Buddy's in here, I apologize. Man, it was one hell of a fight out there. And you see this little kid just standing on the side going like, what is going on? That was hilarious, but funny, not funny, I guess. I like the chaos ending, said Rob. Me too. Hi, Dustin. Love seeing Hammerstone destroy Big Nasty Phil. How about you? I wasn't really sure what to expect with Hammerstone, but man, the dude showed up and delivered and made very short work of Big Nasty Phil. Eddie Kane Main says, Ken Terminated, you are late to the party. You are. Let's see. He says he just woke up. Man, I wish I could have slept in like that. Got a little bromance here between Ken Terminated and Eddie Kane Main. Oh, yeah. Matlock, Lurvy. Should have joined us for the episode. Lurvizzle, there you go. Brad's jealous Jay Webb is better looking. Wow. I think Bradley realizes the major threat Jay Webb poses to his main event status. LA Hustlers wrecked the lunch. I wanted a hot dog. Hey, let me tell you this, guys. The fans at the Wrestle Center show up when I do, like 9 a.m. I pull up and they're getting the grill out and getting started. VIP's not till 12:30. Bell time's not until 1:45 p.m. So like all this happens, these guys are good and full and loaded up and ready to go by the time the bell rings. LA Knight and AJ Styles are do it again next Friday night. Set your alarm clock. There you go, Lurvy. Good idea. Hassan says scapegoat. All right, guys, if you have any questions or comments about today's episode or about future episodes or anything, go ahead and put those in the comments. Even if you're not watching live, go ahead and put them in the comments. We do our best at going back and answering those questions and talking about those comments. We have a huge, huge week coming up. Next Saturday, we're live in Little Rock, Arkansas with the Arkansas Travelers baseball team. Memphis Wrestling will be in the house with some awesome post-game matches, and you'll see Memphis Wrestling sprinkled all throughout the day during baseball. And then the very next day, Buff Bagwell is coming back to Memphis Wrestling. That's next Sunday. Get your tickets, memphiswrestling.tv. Use the code word BUFF at checkout, and you'll save $5. So general admission is $10. Ringside is $15, which are sold out, by the way. So you can get in the house for just $5. Yes, UWN, Derby City Wrestling, and Championship Wrestling take place tomorrow at noon and 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. There is a premiere so you guys can watch and chat. Yeah, that Delta movie guy, there are and that's not something we do. The fans show up and they tailgate at every single Memphis wrestling event. Ken Terminated says, Dustin, I saw Eddie Kane main on Married with Children live stream, so we kind of have a history. Oh my gosh, that is funny. There is a Married with Children live stream. Rob says, I was thinking, put a lime in the coconut every time I saw the fans of the week. Some way Maurice pulled a cruel-like stealing of K Toomer's belt along with the circus. If you guys go back, if you're members of Memphis Wrestling Plus or whatnot, you'll see that I had to go step in and tell them to return that championship before you leave the building today. And unfortunately, they left it lying in the floor. But we did get it back. William says, tailgating at the Wrestle Center must be off the chain. I'm usually inside, so I miss it. But they do have a good time out there. Patrick says, if Dave Marquez is still looking for a job, MLW's hiring for a TV producer. I'm sure he knows that. How do you know that Dave Marquez is looking for a job? Why would anybody even know that? Hassan says he's going to watch. He missed today's show, but thanks for joining us here for the live reaction. Adam Copeland still the TNT champion. Toomer versus Maurice in a hammer match. Whoa. What if MLW joined the connection involving UWN? Too wild an idea. I don't foresee that happening at all, guys. I'm not even going to tease it. I think there's 0% chance that happens. Hey, Arturo, how are you? K Toomer and Keith Lee are two of the best athletic big men today. At least Keith Lee was. I haven't seen him in a while. Ken Terminated said, did you hear Dustin talk about our history? Let's get Coach Cal to show up at the Little Rock event. Oh, hey now. He is an Arkansas guy now. Andrea says, hi, Dustin. I'm super excited to see Bryan Danielson versus Will Ospreay at AEW Dynasty next week. It's an absolute dream match. How about you? I don't view that as a dream match because I don't think that it's – like to – smart internet wrestling fans, it's probably a dream match. But I think that Will Ospreay needs some more story. He needs some more build before that's like a dream match, in my opinion. So Will Ospreay has made his living in Japan, just like Kenny Omega. I compare the two all the time. And although I knew Kenny Omega and had heard of Kenny Omega, and maybe had seen him wrestle Chris Jericho or something, but the average everyday wrestling fan in the United States does not know who Will Ospreay is. If you were to go to your grocery store and just ask everybody in there if they ever heard of Will Ospreay, 9 times out of 10, maybe even more, would say no. And the only reason I use that as an analogy is because Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, was and is a household name for wrestling fans and even maybe some non-wrestling fans, especially since he was on the reality television show with his wife. So I just don't think it's a dream match. It's going to be an awesome match. Had they waited just a little, and I know they can't wait because Daniel Bryan's going to retire or whatever, but I just think they need to put some more value into Will Ospreay's story and in his AEW career before they start calling this dream matches. But it's going to be a good match, Andrea. Toomer versus Maurice in a lumberjack match. Damian Priest versus main event Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship at Backlash in Paris. That'll be cool. Referee Rodney is one of my friends. Awesome. Andrea, they agree 100%. Today's wrestling don't do lumberjack matches a lot, huh? But we have at Memphis Wrestling, and we probably will again. K-Swiss is in Memphis Wrestling. I thought he was a mainstay at Neil's EPW. I have the feeling that once they are on our show, they're no longer this company's this guy. They're our company's this guy. So, yeah, he's probably still working in EPW. Rob says UWN has half the world covered with the alliances. I guess. Eddie Kane says, I don't know him either. Patrick Moore says he told me. So Dave Marquez told you he was looking for a job. Did he ask you for help? True AEW premieres talent, a lot of whom I've never heard of before. Yes, I just think it's more than video packages. It's more than telling us. You have to deliver these stories over the course of weeks and months. Hi, Dustin. Love seeing Paul Heyman be inducted into a 2024 WWE Hall of Fame. He deserves it. He totally does. 100% deserves it. I agree 1,000,000%, Andrea. What an induction speech, too. Arturo says Jimmy Blaylock has a problem with Memphis Wrestling. Well, I hope that Jimmy gets his contract ripped up. I would love that. I understand the urgency they may have at shotgunning Bryan versus Ospreay since Bryan is itching ever so close to retirement, but I agree. I wish it could have gotten more of a proper build-up. Yeah, man, it's almost like an indie show, like in the regard that, hey, this guy's going to wrestle this guy. No story. So instead of Will Ospreay really hammering home a promo that sells the Bryan Danielson versus Will Ospreay match at April 21st, which, by the way, you can watch absolutely free at Dave & Buster's, instead he took that time to talk about Triple H. Another really dumb thing that I don't understand. What's your opinion about blood in wrestling today? I think there is a place for blood, but I think it's not every single match like Jon Moxley. You probably won't see blood in Memphis Wrestling because I'm not buying a new mat every single time that happens. Ken Terminate says, Matlock, I think it was silly for AEW to show the Punk Jack Perry footage. They shouldn't create silly drama. I mean, it didn't even work, too. They thought people were going to, go out of their way to watch this, and they didn't. I think the number was flat at 800,000, if what I saw is correct. I think it's silly. Yep. Can you do a show at the FedEx Center? FedEx Center? You mean FedEx Forum? We were just there 3 weeks ago at FedEx Forum. Bob's versus Jack Banning. Okay. Where's Big John Dalton been? Big John Dalton was on the show, 2 weeks ago, being bullied by the tag team champions. I think we see him next week as well. Bo says, like Ospreay's presentation so far has been iffy for me, having him go up against his own stablemates and whatnot. Seems kind of counterproductive from the Callis family as a whole to me. Come on, guys. If we're going to be talking about Will Ospreay, he had a freaking 20-minute match the other day against somebody else that no one's ever heard of. And now you expect us to believe, what's he going to do? Go 40 minutes with Daniel Bryanson? Bryan Danielson, why would he go 20 plus minutes if you're trying to get this guy over? Now what's he going to do with Daniel Bryan? Just the whole thing makes no sense to me. Lurvy says, I had one wrestling fan tell me on Facebook say that without sports entertainment, pro wrestling is boring. He didn't live to see the 70s where athletics decided a wrestling match. It's a whole new game. Dustin, has Memphis ever shown color? I think it's a PG show. No. Yes, actually, we're probably not allowed to show blood, but we have had bloody noses and things like that. So Psycho Simon got busted open one time with PCO and Tommy Dreamer. I know there's been some other instances, but it is a PG show. That's why we bleep cuss words and we don't have middle fingers and all that kind of stuff. Enjoying the shows put out. Thank you, Moxie. I really appreciate it. Welcome to the live reaction. I got a couple of more minutes here, and then I'm going to jump off here and prepare for a big, big event tonight. Sorry, that'll be enough AEW talk for me this week. All right, Bo, we could talk all day about it. The Punk and Perry video reminds me of the locker room stories I've heard from the past. Look, man, Punk walked up to Jack Perry and picked a fight. If you're a locker room leader, you don't do that. Could you imagine The Undertaker walking up and picking a fight with somebody like that? You all saw the footage. He literally walks up to him. Not only did he walk up and approach Jack Perry, but then when Jack Perry put his hands up to put his hair in a ponytail, Punk shoved him. And then he grabbed him, and then he tried to throw a cheap punch after Jack Perry was being pulled back. So that's not really what locker room leaders do. He started the whole thing. You were a wrestler or an athlete, talking to Rob. All right, hold on. Old school fans, if there's a problem in the Memphis wrestling locker room, is there a wrestler's court? There could be a wrestler's court, but pretty much I'll just eliminate the problem right then and there. No sense in continuing that. There's several people that are not on the show now because of silly stuff like that. Andrea says James Storm in Memphis Wrestling and embarrassing and humiliating Hollywood Jimmy Blaylock by shoving his face into the cake last week. She loved it. I loved it too. I think it was one of the loudest reactions that we've ever had inside the Wrestle Center. Patrick says, when you get a new wrestler, how do you introduce him or her? It all depends. Like today, Case Swiss got a promo and then had a match against Tim Bosby. You also saw a new talent that was to be continued, that had a video vignette is what we call it. A pre-tape vignette. There's all sorts of different ways that you would introduce him or her. Monday Night Wars kid, me too. That Delta movie says, I want to eventually sign up with training at Memphis Wrestling Wrestle Center and wrestle for Memphis Wrestling is genuinely the big goal dream. Where are you from, Delta Movie Dude? We're now enrolling. We have 3 new trainees in the last 3 weeks. 2 guys that I think are going to be really good, and then also a young lady who I think has a lot of potential. You guys are going to love seeing that. Ben says, who's the mysterious man in the woods from the video earlier? Just talking about it. Who is that? Who? Exactly. I don't think Andre has ever created fights with Big John Studd or the locker room. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I mean, Arturo said I had fun watching Memphis wrestling, and I will not miss it for the whole world season. And Dustin Starr, I will be there very soon, I promise. Well, I'm waiting on you, Arturo. Let's go. I don't think of pro wrestling on Monday night, Ken. I think of memorizing scripts and looking for auditions for student films. Well, there you go. The Undertaker was always one of my favorites. Moxie bleeds at his entrance music. That's true. Scripts messed up the wrestlers being themselves. Imagine K Toomer using a silly script. Okay, well, Ken, come on, man. I might not have to script what K Toomer says, but we all have a guideline or bullet points. So some of these scripts, when I go to the Memphis Grizzlies game, I'm scripted. There's a script. Tonight, when I host the Regional 1 Gala, there is a script. Everything has a script. Everything, whether it's bullet points, direction, however, everything has a script. So don't let anybody tell you that something happens on television without a script. Even reality television has a script. I'm an actor in the making, not a wrestler in the making, Ken. There you go, Lurvy. Yeah, good luck, Lurvy. That's awesome. I'm actually in Mississippi, about 2 hours south of Memphis. Dude, you are so close. We have people come from Little Rock. We have people train from Jonesboro, Tupelo, Boonville, you name it, man. They're coming here to train with Memphis Wrestling. Bring it on. It's 2 days a week, Mondays and Wednesdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. You will love it. What town are you in Mississippi, that Delta Movie Dude? I also like when Jimmy spit Van Vicious's face. That was good. Love seeing John Cena and Undertaker at WrestleMania 40. Me too. I was shocked to see The Undertaker. Dustin, is there a locker room leader in Memphis Wrestling? Yes, there's several locker room leaders in Memphis Wrestling. And a lot of times the locker room leaders will take care of an issue or kind of somewhat handle an issue before it ever hits me, because once it comes to me, I got to take care of it. All right, last call for questions. Last call. Then I got to get ready and get suited up, head down to the Renaissance Convention Center for tonight's big event. And then tomorrow is the final Memphis Grizzlies home game of the season. Also, just to let you guys know, I do have my own YouTube page that I'll be posting videos on right now. I'm preloading videos. There's nothing there. It just has the cover photo and, of course, my profile picture. But then you guys are going to see a lot of stuff that I have never been able to post before. So all that's going to be up on my YouTube page coming up very, very soon. Amazing. All these students come to Memphis and train. Where else do these students come from other than Memphis? Man, Tupelo, Jackson, Tennessee. Blake Christian comes and trains with us from Jackson, Oxford, Mississippi, Little Rock, Tupelo, you name it, man. All right, Old School Dave, thank you, brother. Live just outside Cleveland. Tell Jay Webb he's awesome. I will let him know. Dustin, I had to vent because I missed the wrestlers didn't follow a script and being themselves like Piper and others. They can still be themselves. They just have to be scripted and given a direction. Dustin, can you call the righteous path the wrongful path? Yes. Rob says some wrestlers like gun shows sound natural. They're speaking from the heart. Yes, but he also has a guide on what he needs to say, I'm sure. What's up, buddy? Come here. You want to come say hello? No. Reese the Beast is up from his nap. Imagine King Cobra's the locker room leader. He definitely is a locker room leader. Cheers, Lurvy. Thank you. Did T-Ward's memo get lost in the mail? Come here, buddy. See you later. Andrea says, thank you for answering my questions. Have a good day. Great weekend. Thank you. What happened to the main event? Main event was on. Have an excellent weekend. Thank you, guys. Reese the Beast, do you want to come say hello to everybody? No. There's people on here that want to say hello to you. He just woke up from a nap, y'all. So he will say hello. Can you just yell hello? Can you say, oh, yeah? He said, oh, no. Anyways, Reese the Beast is up. I've got to get ready. I had a lot of fun with today's episode. Spring Break presented by Hempville CBD. Thank you for joining me here on the live reaction. If you're watching at a later time, make sure that you go ahead and put your questions and comments in there, and then we'll go back and we'll reply to them all. They're saying hello, Reese the Beast. I'll DM you for the main event show. All right. To all the Memphis Maniacs, God bless. See you tomorrow, the rest of the week. Oh, yeah. He's not in a good mood. No, he's not. Yes. Why do I got what? This? That's actually makeup. My son just asked me why I had makeup. Big brother Reese. Oh, yeah. Have a good weekend. See you next time, Ben. Excited Reese is getting big. Yes, Ben. Hey, if you didn't see the community board for members only, go check that out. May 18th. Something's going down. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I am Dustin Starr saying so long, everybody.